This episode, we take on one of my favourite climbs in the Bay Area, one that starts at the iconic Golden Gate Bridge and takes you high above the bay waters below. It is, of course, Hawk Hill. This is the Bay Area, encompassing the cities of San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose, to name a few. Unknown to many, there is a surprisingly good amount of climbing here. It's a cyclist playground, with hills and mountains stretching in and around the dense urban metropolis. According to the PJAM cycling website, there are 151 documented climbs in the entire Bay Area. And in this series, we'll aim to tackle all of them, one by one. And at the end of the day, take you through what it's like and rank them based on difficulty and how beautiful. Alrighty, good morning and welcome back to the next episode of the Every Climb series. Behind me here is the Golden Gate Bridge, which means we could be nowhere else but at the base of Hawk Hill. A real quintessential climb here in the Bay Area, and especially for many city residents or people who just live over the bay here, is it a real classic in your mind. It's one of my favorites, and I cannot wait to tackle it today and show it off to everybody around the world. So let's get on the bike and let's get into it. And our climb starts at this parking lot right on the north side of the bridge adjacent to the freeway, and it is steep from the get-go. Alrighty, here's Hawk Hill. It's just under 2 miles, it's not very long, but look at that first section there, above 10% grades, and it starts to ramp up towards the top as you get some cracking views across the bay. A pre-ranking of a number 126, let's keep going. And you're going to come to an intersection really quickly, you're going to take a left, and you're going to start heading up the hill. Like I said, this first part is very, very steep. Be cautious, get ready for it. It is the hardest part of this climb, but it sends a real shock into the system. Whew. I will say the views off to my left make up for the pain. And I think this part of the climb scares off some people. They get to the top of this portion and turn back because they get worried that it might all continue, but it doesn't. It really mellows out here quickly. Oh, all right, there we go. The road bends around to the right and you get a views of where the viewpoint over Golden Gate Bridge is. Now this climb is really well protected. There's a really good bike lane off to the right hand side in this first half. Really helps when it gets busy during the day, as this is a popular spot for people visiting town. Now as you round the corner and face away from the Golden Gate Bridge and face north, you get views over to the other side of where the peak is, just lingering in the distance, calling you up. Here we go, up and up. And we picked a ripper of a day today. The wind is normally a real tough one to deal with on this climb. It's exposed all the way along the hillside, no trees, no barriers, and it can often be in your face. But today, we're lucky, it's quite low, or it's coming from the other side of the hills and we're protected. Now, there's a middle portion here where it really flattens out and you can cruise for a bit. It's a portion before the roundabout. That's where it starts to ramp up again. Alright, I like to think as the roundabout is halfway, and immediately after that is when it gets steep again. So you give yourself some time to recover up to that roundabout, and then you start putting in some of the effort here to chug up to the top. Here we go. but it is hard to beat the views off your shoulder the whole way. If you ever need a break, take your mind off things, just look out towards the bay. Look at that. Amazing. Now I've come on a winter's morning, which is nice, it's cooler. On a hot summer's day, this climb can be a bit brutal without any shade on the way up. So I like coming doing this a lot in the winter and the spring. It's close by home too, so I can get it done in a reasonable amount of time. Now you see that there, that's one of the old bunkers that are spattered around this hill. This was a real strategic defense position to protect the bay during World War II. It was never used, lucky enough, but there's lots of these openings all over this hill point here. We'll take a look at some of them at the top. All right, we're reaching the top. The legs have put in a nice little effort this morning. Feeling good about this one. Oh, I love this climb. I love it so much. And that flattens up at the top here to a viewpoint with parking spaces and some of those fortifications that you can actually walk through to see the other side out towards the Pacific Ocean. But let's take a stop here and admire the views of it. Alright, that is Hawk Hill done for the first time in the series. The peak is just all the way along here with the viewpoints, and then out towards the bay is the Golden Gate Bridge and the city beyond. Just a lovely calm morning, a bit of haze, but there are just views galore. This is a really great climb. Alright, I'm gonna get back on the bike and go downhill. Let's recap it and see how it stacks up. Alrighty, here's how Hawk Hill stacks up compared to everything else, and I think some of these number values are a bit distorted based on how I feel about this climb, as it's one of my favourites. In terms of difficulty, I'm putting it very middle of the field. It's 5 out of 10. It's great for some beginner cyclists who are new to the area or getting into cycling. You can put it as one of those mile markers, things to try and pine towards and get up and really get to the top and feel very accomplished. And even for your intermediate and advanced riders, it's a great training ride, and it's really good to add into one of your rides where you go north over the bridge. So it's very middle of the field, 5 out of 10, not too bad. In terms of beauty, I'm actually going to have to put this as number 1. Even on a day like this where it's kind of overcast, there's a bit of haze, it's really just amazing views. Something when you get to the top, you can look out towards the Golden Gate Bridge, the city, the Pacific Ocean. It's just uninterrupted. It's really beautiful, especially to get up there in the morning before a lot of the visitors come up there. It's quiet, it's peaceful. I'm probably going to do it again in the future just to show off how good this climb is. I'm putting it 8.8 out of 10. It beats Twin Peaks. I think it has better views than that one. So it's going to reach the top of the rankings for this one. We'll see how it stacks up compared to some other ones in the bay, but for now, this hits the number 1 spot, a real special one. Thanks everyone for joining this week. I'll see you next time.